This is breaking news. A Pakistan passenger train has been taken hostage by the BLA, the Baloch Liberation Army, that has taken responsibility for what they say is the killing of Pakistani soldiers on board that train. The initial press release from the BLA said that they had killed 6 Pakistani military personnel. An updated press release since from the BLA says that they have killed 11 Pakistani military personnel. They also say that close to 200 passengers have been taken hostage. The BLA press release warns that if any military response is undertaken against them, then the Pakistan military will be responsible for, quote unquote, the execution of those on board. Veteran Pakistani journalist Wajahat Khan is with us. Information is hazy. Right now, we're only going by the BLA press statements. There's very little information, in fact, next to none available on the Pakistani television channels that I did try and look up for more. The BLA, as you know, Wajahat has issued multiple, I would say up to 3 press releases in the last 1 hour alone. And it makes for chilling reading. I am not playing any footage because the footage that has been released on social media is unverified, and we want to be very responsible here. What can you tell us? What do we know?
Good morning from New York, Barka. What we know is the following. This is in central Balochistan, at the cusp of the largest province in Pakistan, where the Pashtun population meets the Baloch population. As you know, Balochistan is Pakistan's largest, but also perhaps most isolated province. And this is an isolated part of that isolated province. This is the area of Dhadar. Now, from what we're hearing, that the train has been hijacked and stopped in a tunnel, the Dhadar tunnel. There are around 350 to 400 passengers on board. The BLA claims to have held all of them hostage, as you mentioned in the press release, but has also started engaging security personnel. Now, there's 2 sorts of security personnel on this train from what we're hearing. One are the regular railways police personnel who are there to secure the train. They're on there in every regular train in Pakistan. But what's even more disturbing, and we're getting SITREPs leaked from within the military right now. SITREPs are situation reports, which are internal military communications. And these are leaked reports, again, not official military reports from GHQ, but leaked. And these are indicating something worse, that there were at least 33 soldiers there were at least 24 soldiers from the 33rd Infantry Division of Balochistan on board this train. That included at least 1 junior commissioned officer. And what I'm hearing, actually, the updated number is 48 soldiers, at least 48 soldiers. Now, again, from the...
Hang on. I want to get this number right, because you said 24 soldiers on board. Of which regiment you said?
This is the 33rd Infantry Division. The 33rd Infantry Division based out of Quetta in Balochistan. Now, I'm hearing at least there's different regiments. I can't share the names of all those regiments, but there are different regiments with different numbers of soldiers in it. What you should know, what our audiences should know, is that there's several dozen security personnel from a major infantry division on this train, according to SITREPs leaked, not verified by the military, but that's what we're hearing. Now, the news that we're also hearing is that several of these soldiers have been targeted as well. There's 2 versions. The official version, which is running on electronic media, is that the train has been cordoned off and there's a security operation underway. What we're also hearing, however, is that the BLA is already on its way out. It's killed some of these soldiers, killed some hostages, and is running off, retreating. So hazy, sketchy information, but the SITREP looks pretty credible, came from a credible source, and that's what we're hearing about the SITREP with possible military casualties.
So, as I said, the 3rd press release from the BLA claimed to have killed 11 11 security personnel of Pakistan. You are confirming to us, basis your sources, that at least two dozen soldiers of the 33rd Infantry Division of the Pakistan Army are on board this train. You're also saying some reports are suggesting the BLA might be on its way out of this train after killing we don't know how many people.
Correct.
We had so far assumed that the remaining hostages were civilians, but you're saying the remaining hostages could in fact be soldiers of the 33rd Infantry Division of the Pakistan Army. We don't know because the details are still hazy. Now, this press statement from the BLA also warned against military response, because you said some sources are saying the train has been cordoned off, there's a military operation underway. The BLA in its press statement, as you know, warned that if there is a military response, the remaining hostages, which they claim to be 182 in number as per their press statement, would be quote unquote executed. It makes for chilling reading. Would that tie the hands of the military in how to handle this hostage situation?
Listen, there's two stories to cover here. There's a story on the ground as it's breaking right now. This is unprecedented. You've got a train going from one provincial capital, Quetta, to another provincial capital, Peshawar. We've spoken to railway sources in Peshawar. They're saying that there's at least 350 to 400 passengers on the passenger manifest that they're expecting in Peshawar. We're also hearing from sit reps that some of those passengers are military personnel. Now, this is where these are official sources. Now, after that, things get hazy about the operation on the ground. But that's just the story right now. The largest story is the increasing footprint of the BLA. Now, for the context of our viewers, especially in India, the BLA is the Baloch Liberation Army. It's just one part of the larger insurgent matrix that faces Pakistan in this province of Balochistan. There's other groups there as well, like the Baloch Liberation Front, the Baloch Republican Army. There's a whole alphabet soup of all sorts of insurgent groups. But the BLA is very operational and the most hyper-operational group, as well as the most weaponized group of late. It's versus 2023 to 2024, their attacks were up 4x, 4 times. The casualties that they sustained also rose 4x. In fact, just last week, they engaged in a suicide attack, recruiting a female suicide bomber, which is rare for Pakistan. But there have been subsequent attacks with suicide bombers, again featuring the BLA. The BLA is not, and this is important for our audiences, especially your audiences, the BLA is not an Islamist insurgency. The BLA is a separatist insurgency. They're quite secular. Then they tend to target infrastructure, technical targets. They've targeted the Chinese a lot in the past, especially in urban centers. Just recently, on a main highway in the same province, they set up checkposts, and they targeted Punjabi Mazdoors, laborers, specifically targeting them for their ethnicity, because they're seen as outsiders in this province. So this is a remarkably different insurgency than the Taliban insurgency that is ongoing in the northwestern part of Pakistan. But the very fact is that the BLA is growing. It's just a hop, skip, and jump behind the Pakistani Taliban in terms of casualty numbers. But they do have, according to weapons analysts who are watching them, they have a lot of leftover NATO weapons, M4 carbines, night scopes. And this is giving the Pakistani military, the Pakistani paramilitary forces, security forces at large, a whole lot of pain right now.
Now, as we await more specific details on the situation update on this train hostage, recently, not so long ago, I would say maybe a couple of weeks ago, a Pakistan member of parliament, Fazlur Rahman, spoke in the Pakistan National Assembly, and he actually spoke about the danger of Balochistan going the Bangladesh way. He actually said that Pakistan was in danger of losing both Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And I want to play out that clip as we look at the larger situation on what's happening in Balochistan and with the BLA. Take a look.
जनाब स्पीकर, मेरे इलाके में ऐसे एरियाज हैं जिसको फौज ने भी खाली कर दिया है, पुलिस तो खाली कर चुकी थी। बता दूं आपको, ऐवान को बताना चाहता हूं, वो इलाके कि जो पुलिस तो खाली कर चुकी थी लेकिन फौज भी खाली कर चुकी है, और जहां पर जंग हो और पुलिस भी ना हो और फौज भी ना हो, तो वो एरिया किसके कब्जे में होगा और वहां किसका रेट होगा? और दिल पे हाथ रखकर मुझे कहना पड़ता है, इंतहाई दर्द दिल के साथ कहना पड़ता है कि इस वक्त बलूचिस्तान के 5 से 7 अजला इस पोजीशन में हैं कि अगर वो आजादी का ऐलान कर दें तो अगले दिन अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा में उनकी दरख्वास्त को कबूल। कहां खड़े हैं हम लोग? मेरी गुफ्तगू को जज्बाती गुफ्तगू न समझा जाए, मैं जज्बाती बातें नहीं किया करता, लेकिन हकायक तक पहुंचने के लिए पार्लियामेंट को भी पहुंचना होगा और हुकूमत को भी पहुंचना होगा। इस वक्त जब हमारा ऐवान यहां बैठा है, सूबा खैबर पख्तूनख्वा के जनूबी अजला, इस वक्त वहां कोई हुकूमत नहीं है, वहां कोई पुलिस नहीं है। पुलिस चौकियां अंदर से कुंडे लगाकर बंद कर दी गई हैं।
Right. That is a representative image of the Jaffar Express that you see on your screen, not the actual, we're not saying that this is an image from the hostage. I just want to be a hostage situation. I just want to be very clear. It's a representative image. I want to ask you, when Fazlur Rahman says that that the military, the police has vacated, that Pakistan is losing control over several Baloch districts. A, is he accurate? B, you say that there are some reports coming in that the military is responding to this hostage situation. How mindful will it have to be of the 182 hostages that the BLA claims it has in its custody, whose lives could be endangered by any military response?
Barka, Fazlur Rahman is not alone in his assessment. On the other side of the aisle, Rana Sanaullah, the right-hand man of Nawaz Sharif, has made a similar claim. On yet another side of the aisle, Qasim Suri, who is now a wanted man, he's the former Deputy Speaker of Parliament, he's a PTI member, also from Balochistan, has made a similar claim. Just last week in a meeting with me here in New York, where he's in exile, saying that at least 7 districts of Pakistan's largest province are not under the writ of the state. The numbers speak for themselves. As I said, 4 times, a 4-fold increase in casualties and incidents. And I'm happy to report this. Well, I'm actually sad to report this because Balochistan is my home province. I was born there. My family's from there. The BLA has recently met with the BLF, the Baloch Liberation Front, and the UBA, the United Baloch Army. And nobody's heard this. This is breaking news for you. They recently met for 3 days in Balochistan. They had a big conference, a big powwow, and they want to make what is being called the BNA, the Baloch National Army. Now, again, for outsiders, this is just an alphabet soup of insurgencies. But really, if you track what they're getting up to, they're escalating the conflict. A few years ago, just a couple of years ago, these guys used to do hit-and-run operations on pickets, on barricades. Now they take over entire cities for 24, 36 hours. They roam around, they burn police stations, they steal cop cars, they rob banks, they drive off. They used to do checkpoint hit and runs. Now they set up checkpoints for long nights, stopping all sorts of convoys, burning down trucks, targeting people at will. So their capacity is slowly increasing. And this attack of this scale, and I only hope that the casualties remain limited. An attack of this scale involving at least a couple of hundred people is enormous. The very fact that 3 different leaders of 3 completely different political lineages, right-leaning Fazlur Rahman, center-leaning Rana, and a left-leaning Qasim Suri are saying that Balochistan, huge parts of it are out of control. And yet, what you have here is the Pakistani military, which, is happy to take its praise from President Trump in a joint session of Congress for catching an ISIS assassin for the Americans. But the people of Pakistan wonder, the people of Balochistan specifically wonder, what about these people on your screen right now, and who's answerable for them? They have been. It's Ramadan. It's a holy month for all us Muslims. There have been 3 major suicide attacks this year, and now you've got this. An escalation is always expected. It's fighting season in Ramadan, but the very fact that the country's most senior cleric was killed in the Friday before the Ramadan, the Haqqaniya chief, Hamidul Haq. After that, a huge attack in Bannu, where even kids were killed and SSG commandos were targeted in the northwestern part of the country. Then a female suicide bomber was used in the heart of Balochistan, and now this. And one wonders where the military is, besides, of course, officiating everything, including cricket, which they've made a mockery of by controlling the cricket board. And look at how you guys got away with that, as well as the Champions Trophy. Well done, India. But it's embarrassing. At several levels of leadership, there's been a failure. The very fact that every couple of months, either the Wall Street Journal or the Financial Times ends up writing a piece about how this military is overreaching even in the economy, which is something they're not trained to do, makes one wonder about who's actually doing the policing in Pakistan, who's actually securing Pakistan, which is going through its worst surge since the 2010, 11, 12 years, around a decade ago, when you reported from Pakistan as well. You remember the height of the war on terror, the post-Musharraf years, Kayani, Raheel Sharif, Obama's drone wars. We're back to those numbers. According to all the stats, just a report released yesterday put us flat out at number 2. We're the only South Asian country in the top 10 of the global terror index, besides, of course, our old friend Afghanistan. But we're number 2, they're number 9. So even the Afghans are 7 steps better than us in the terror index. India's at 14, by the way, for your audience.
Before we let you go, because I think we all need to go back to the drawing board as reporters and get more information on this very fluid situation, do you have any updates? The BLA continues to issue press statements. If you can check in your network, if there is anything we know, is this operation ongoing from the Pakistan military? Do we have any more information at all? Or are we at a place where the BLA says that it has killed at least 11 Pakistani security personnel? You confirmed to us that there are at least 24 more security personnel of the 33rd Infantry Division of the Pakistan Army on board, which means that the remaining hostages are not all civilians. The BLA has said in other statements that it let women and children go, which is what explains how a train full of 450 passengers is now, the BLA saying, left with 182. That's their last press statement that I can find. Wajahat, any last thoughts? This is a fluid situation. It's a developing story.
Again, the two sides here, according to the BLA, 182 hostages have been taken. This is the BLA side. 182 hostages have been taken, 11 military personnel killed. Interestingly, they're claiming that the military personnel on board belong to the ISI, and as well as the ATF. They're also saying that the women and children and Baloch citizens, and this is really important, that's the ethnic component, Baloch citizens, only who are locals, have been released. That means that if you're a Punjabi or a Pathan or someone else, you're not going to be released. That's the BLA perspective, but clearly they're doing a hell of a better job being transparent versus the military, which is still yet to come out with an official version. Unofficial reports, however, indicate that the op is ongoing right now, Barka.
All right, Bajaj, we're going to let you go. I know it's early morning in New York. I'm sure you were dying to get some rest after the all-nighter that you mentioned you pulled, but there's no rest for the wicked or for journalists. We will reconnect with you hopefully a little later to see if you have any updates. This is a grim situation for Pakistan, but it also points to, as Wajahat said, the losing grip of the Pakistani military over Balochistan, something pointed out not just by Fazlur Rahman, who's on the right of the political spectrum in Pakistan, but even by other political leaders. Wajad Khan there asking, where is the Pakistan military? Is its job now to control cricket and to make cozy or make good with Donald Trump? Lots of questions there. Grim situation, Wajad. We hope to reconnect with you in a while. Thank you as ever for talking to us. Take care. See you soon.
Good to be here, Barka. Take care.
Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.